Said they just don't make them like this no more. Fact, they never made them like this before. About the baddest man that your eyes done saw. Baby, I'm down by law.
Dangerous. 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 Dangerous.
Peace, family. It's your boy, Uncle Dom, representing Apocalypse Art Supply. And this is the Street Hieroglyphs podcast. Today on the podcast, I got SKEEZ181, representing TOK out of, I would say, Portland, Oregon. Yeah, dude's a really good dude. He makes these cool totems. We'll get to more of that later. Originally coming from Texas, moved up here to the Pacific Northwest. Now dude's making even a bigger name in the scene and art culture than he was down in Texas. So while we wait on him to get on line with us, don't forget, join the Patreon. It's patreon.com/artsupply. You become a member. We do things like, depending on what tier you got, we give out free t-shirts quarterly. We give out free gift packs, free sticker packs every month. Also, we give out a free magazine quarterly to those who are subscribed to that membership. So be on the lookout. Street Hieroglyphs magazine volume 1 and 2 are going to drop shortly right after each other. So just keep a lookout. You'll be able to get an early release on Patreon. So don't forget, sign up for the Patreon. That's patreon.com/apocalypseartsupply. For those of y'all that don't know, Apocalypse Art Supply will be dropping Apocalypse Colors this spring. So be on the lookout for that. I'm gonna start with 6 colors, and then quickly we're gonna build on to the roster of colors. So be on the lookout. Still waiting on Skeez to get on. But don't trip, it's gonna be worth it. What's up, man?
Get on here now.
What's going on?
Camera ain't working.
Oh damn! You should just be able to press that little camera icon.
Oh, there you
go.
go.
Yeah.
I'm a fucking caveman, dude.
I mean, you look like it, so I mean, it goes with it.
What's up?
Man, we're just chilling, bro. We're living life, man.
Badass,
How are you doing?
man.
How are you doing today?
I see you with your necklace, dog, representing.
I had to, bro, just for this. I wear it a lot, but I had to for this occasion. I definitely want to touch on that.
We got it, man. Fuck, finally.
Heck yeah. Well, I already did the intro and everything like that, so go ahead and introduce yourself.
Word up, man. SKEEZ181, representing HOODRATZ status, Houston, Texas. TOK, 12-ounce cartel. SDC, Central Elements in California, worldwide. I think that's it.
Hell yeah, that's a good roster right there, my boy. Hell yeah. Especially that 865 TOK. Already know. Hell yeah. All right. So Skeez, you said you're from Houston, Texas originally?
Yeah, man. I grew up in Northside Houston in the 80s and shit. You know what I'm saying? Youngest of 4 brothers. My 3 older brothers were like either cholos or tejano. You know what I'm saying? Like Mexican culture.
Yeah, hell yeah. You see that a lot in your work, though. You embrace that for sure. You could tell.
Yeah, for sure, man. I'm really proud of my race and stuff like that. I embrace the roots a lot, and people people don't take me for that because I look like a white boy.
You know what, bro? I've had that problem my whole life too, G. Honestly. But you know what? We just keep on pushing through. They see it in our actions. They don't got to see it on our skin.
Hell yeah,
You know what I
dude.
mean?
That's word. Hmm.
Hell yeah.
You look a lot. You look like the type of cat that I would find in Chicago.
Up there chilling with Matt and all them.
Hell yeah, man. I think in 2000 and between 2001 and 2002, I was practically living in Chicago because I was working for another company doing merchandising for hardware stores. So I was just like always on the travel, on the move, meeting different artists. And when I met Beepo and Flash, old school ABC from Chicago, they're the ones that introduced me to Matt OG. And we just automatically, like fucking clicked, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what it is. I guess it's the fucking Virgo in us or something, man. But we just got cool and shit and started painting, and I started coming into town more because I was in Gurney, Illinois, which
Okay.
is kind of like a northern suburb city above Chicago. And I would drive down and meet up with Flash from ABC or Peepo. And Peepo is the one that introduced me to Matt OG, to Johnny. And shit, it's been nothing but love ever since, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, hell yeah. I know you definitely for sure get them vibes off of Mad, man. He's a very humble cat, man. Very welcoming to everybody.
Yeah,
Especially if you
definitely,
rep his
man.
letters. Yeah, heck yeah.
Yeah, he reminds me a lot of my older brother Joe. He's a cholo too. They used to call him El Payaso.
Ah, that's what I'm talking about.
So he's kind of like more cholo roots, not necessarily like hip hop, but more like, hey, Davey, draw me a skull with a bandana, and you know what I'm saying, shit like that.
Yeah. No, straight up, straight up. Especially given his other affiliations, for sure you could tell that
Hmm.
that is definitely who he is. Um, so yeah, bro, Skeez, let's pick your brain. How did you get started on graph? Like what pulled you in?
Man, man, of course, being the youngest brother of like four, I had three older brothers. One of them already died, rest in peace. But
Rest in peace.
being around older cats and me being the youngest, man, I was always the little mocoso and shit, sucking on my thumb, watching everybody fucking up. You know what I'm saying? So I watched, I learned. Two of my brothers were in gangs back in the day, and that pretty much just came from the hood, the neighborhood we grew up with. It was just a lot of violence and shit. And my oldest brother Joe is the one that got me hyped up to spray paint because I remember they used to huff that shit. They used to spray it in a Coke can and fucking go to the park and just smell that shit all day. You know what I mean? All fucking glazed out on fucking spray paint and fumes. So he handed me two cans. He had like a can of black and a can of like stone gray and shit, Krylon, and I just started going at it while they were stoned in the parking lot. I started spray painting some little concrete wall. I must have been like 12 years old, bro, and they're all stoned, and they thought that I blew their mind because they're stoned on top of watching me paint, a little kid, and they're like, "Oh shit, man, that's badass, bro. You should keep doing that." And so I started, I started doing it more, spray painting. Then I got exposed to trains and at a young age, and then my older brother, since he knew I had a thing for art, he was going to high school while I was in fifth grade. So he came up with this idea for me to draw some like skip party flyers for some gang parties. You know what I mean? It was like gang crew neighborhoods, and then I would draw the flyers for the skip parties. But I'm a 12-year-old, 13-year-old kid, don't know shit about like skip parties and none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm barely about to get into middle school already drawing flyers for gangs and shit in the hood. And that's how I got my little like career started in the neighborhood, you know what I'm saying? From just drawing like flyers. And then I think by 10th grade I acquired um so many networks of DJs, MCs, people that were down for the cause, that I just used all this information and all these networks, started doing my own breakdance parties. This is around 19 late 89, early 1990. And yeah, I was doing a lot more like hip hop shit back then because it was more pure, more true. You know what I mean? It wasn't played out. People loved it. People were still breakdancing, but it was kind of like in transition. People were starting to like do house shit and rave parties and shit like that. That shit started coming about by like the mid 90s.
Right, and you were still in Houston at that time, I'm guessing, or in Texas?
Yeah, I've been in
Yeah.
Houston most of my life. Me moving to up here to Oregon is more of like, second chapter, or kind of like my retirement, if you will, kind of getting away from my city. And not because I don't like it, but more because I just been there my entire life, bro. I want to see something new. I want to experience different terrain, different people. You know what I'm saying? Everybody knows me in Texas, but not many people know me outside of my own state. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you gotta. I heard an OG one time say, you gotta conquer your borough, and then you gotta branch off into other boroughs and teach people what you know and learn what they know. You know what I mean? Each one teach one. That
Same.
knowledge gets pushed on. You know?
Yeah, man. My homie King Gonzo in Houston told me kind of the same thing. Gonzo 247. He said, Skeez, you ain't a prophet in your own city. In your own city, motherfuckers know who you are. They go Skeez. We've seen him. We know what he does. Houston all my life, everybody knows what I'm about. But if I go in another city, I'm a new person, different, bring profit. Who the fuck is that? Why is he painting everywhere? And that's what I'm trying to do in Portland. You know what I mean? Just kind of like clean up the whack graffiti and all the unwanted shit, and just kind of like make it into murals and shit like that. I'm too old to like be running around trying to do any illegal shit, even though I do catch my little adrenaline rush here and there. But yeah, man, 50 years old, dude. It's just a long time for me now.
Nah, bro, I feel that. I'm a little bit of ways behind you, but no, I feel it, bro. Because I know moving up here for me was a retirement thing. Because back in Vegas, where I'm from, everybody knows me. I'm on the east side all the time. I'm in the streets doing wicked stuff,
Yeah,
hanging out with some wild people. So moving up here for me was the same situation. It was more of a retirement thing. Got kids, want to chill
yeah.
back, and then up in this area, the art culture is really big. So
Hmm.
they're more welcoming than where we're from. You know what I mean?
Right.
They don't see it necessarily as vandalism, even though whatever way you take
Yeah.
your art it is, but they're more welcoming to it as long as it's appealing to the eye. You could tell.
Yeah, that's what I like about being up here, man. People still have an appreciation because I've kind of over the years just pushed out the lettering aspect and just kept the illustration aspect of it, so it kind of appeals to the masses more. You do a bunch of wild style letters, not many people are going to relate to it. They're half the time they're going to spend trying to decipher it and shit.
Yeah, as to where when you throw one of those dope ancestors on the wall, from your brain, fucking talking to them in your head, and then you put them out to the wall, bro. That
Hell
shit
yeah.
that's wicked, bro. That's
Uh,
wicked.
Thank you,
And
bro.
like
Thank you.
and like I said, you could tell your style, bro. You're very in tune with your Hispanic culture, bro. Fucking and that's good, bro. Like there's not a lot of people out there, that embrace their culture like that and willing to make their whole career based off of that. You know what I mean? And I respect that you do that for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I want to do it because again, I'm really proud of my culture, and I want to make it known. You know what I mean? Because it's like, um, I know that it isn't 100% me, but it's kind of like I'm just kind of still keeping it on the table for people to know the origin. You know what I mean? I kind of see the way I paint kind of like hip hop music. You know what I'm saying? Because with hip hop music, you get a sample from, like, let's say a 70s beat or a loop, and then you mix it up and makes your own rendition. I'm kind of the same way when it comes to graffiti. So I'll just take a little like sample of my old school culture, put that little modernized bling to it, and it comes out kind of like a remix or hip hop, like hip hop formula, or at least that's the way I try to call it. My homie in Miami, man, he's an old school b-boy, and he always talks about doing this shit, and he's like, "Skeez, bro, we got to do these hip hop panels, man, to knowledge up how people it's supposed to be and this and that, because it's a dying culture, man. The new generation don't really necessarily put that much homage or honor into the old school shit. You know what I'm saying? Like me in Houston, they just, again, they go skis. It ain't a big deal because I've been around so long. But the point is to like make such an impact that motherfuckers know you by, your household name and shit, not just in one state, just different everywhere, all over the place.
Yeah, make your name travel a little further.
Hell yeah.
So so when would you say that you branched off from the letter form and decided you were just gonna focus on the illustration?
I want to say about 97, 98 is when I stopped doing that. I was doing a lot of like crab style letters. Um, I started around 91, 92. I got into it really, really heavy. And then around 97, 98 is when I gave up. 96 is when I went to jail. And it was stupid, bro, when I went to jail because I went to jail in a stolen car. And this is before smartphones and all that shit. So I had a backpack full of Krylon, and then inside the backpack I had a fucking little photo album. Remember them little photo albums with all your trains and shit?
Yeah, hell yeah.
So they took that, used it as evidence, and my dumb ass would let my crew member, take pictures of me. So it's kind of hard to say, nah, that ain't you. You know what I mean? And it was just evidence they threw it up against me. You know what I mean? And I just totally stopped doing the lettering because of the hard hit that happened with that, and I felt like I was getting more work on a personal level, like getting hired from companies when I was doing the illustration shit. You know what I mean? Like just kind of catering to whatever client wanted. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, that's good. That's good. Hey, I mean, obviously it's worked out for you, so more kudos to you, bro, and you're phenomenal at what you do.
It's pretty crazy, man. It's pretty crazy, dude. If you knew all the shit I've been through, it's kind of like that whole saying, art imitates life. You know what I'm saying? Because that year in '96, I went to jail, and one of the trains that they charged me with was a Union Pacific train, which was a federally federally owned train line. So it was a felony
yeah.
that I painted, right? So that was in '96, and then fast forward to, I think it must have been like 2011, when I got hired to paint a fancy old fashioned restaurant in Atascocita, Texas. And guess what it was?
Uh,
It was a legal caboose train turned into a restaurant.
that's fucking hilarious.
I know, dude. It's like I went to jail for this shit. Now I'm getting paid to do this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Came
So it's
around
like,
full circle, bro.
yeah, bro. So it's like motherfucking life imitates art, and it trips me out because I'm like, why in the fuck, how is this happening to me? You know what I'm saying? It's funny, life's funny like that. You know what I mean?
No, I feel you. I got a little story like that. My brother, a long time ago, bro, when I was really into like tag banging and shit like that, I was repping hard out the streets.
Right?
He came in from California, and he's a square, bro. He's lame. We don't talk, but he pulled me off to the side, was like, Dom, you could possibly lose your life on this shit. Your homies don't give a fuck about you, and there's no 401k retirement in graffiti. And if I would have sat there and I would listen to him and I would have stopped and you went the straight and narrow path, I would have never uh, opened up the shop and able to sell spray paint, make my own spray paint brand in order to, uh, push the culture forward, bro, and make a living off of that. So I feel
Yeah,
like you said, art imitates life, bro. And as long as you're doing what you love in life, it gives it back to you full circle to where you can monetize it. I feel like,
yeah,
you know what I
man.
mean?
I mean, just stick with the formula, just being true. Don't mix with people that are not in it for the same reason you are. A lot of people when I paint nowadays, man, when I go places, they look at me and they think I'm painting to make money, but I'm actually painting for fucking therapy, dude. You know what I mean?
That's
So,
what it comes out to. Yeah.
yeah, bro. Like sometimes I'll have people like, "Oh man, how much you charging for that?" Like, I'm not, man. I'm actually doing this because this fucking makes me happy, dude. I'm at the point where I'm not worried about the money aspect or not. I hustled my art shit for 15 years, bro. You know what I mean? 15 years. I had my own business. I ran my own shots. I would make myself get up, go to the art studio, bang out this shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like my brother Mo is the one that told me, the one that's next to me, my brother Moses, he's like, bro, just fucking get yourself a regular job, man, and make your art into your hobby again. So you just fall in love with the shit again. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a hobby and that I crave and miss. You know what I'm saying? It's not just, oh shit, it's fucking work. I gotta do some work. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm getting up and finally
Right.
I'm getting up finally doing this shit for the love of it instead of trying to make some money. You know what I'm saying?
And you know what, bro? That says a lot because a lot of people do try to monetize the artwork that they do. And for you just to do it for the love, I mean, it takes it back to that raw, uncut love for the culture, your culture, and and you can see as if you use yourself as an example, somebody that's started in Texas. Texas is pretty rough and rugged, and then going to jail, coming out with a whole new state of mind, trying to just do things that you enjoy. You know what I mean? That's very honorable, bro. I respect that 100%.
Yeah, thank you, bro, man. It's just, it's these small stories that people have that's some writers, some artists will appreciate, but if you ain't like a graph writer and have been through the system for, graffiti or some shit like that, man, some people can't relate, you know what I'm saying? And um I got away from it, you know what I mean, after I finished my probation shit and just stuck with legal shit, after that. And
Yeah.
I chose that decision during the time it was hot and it was up and coming because not many people were fucking with it. People didn't really start fucking with graffiti like spray paint, I would say, until like officially for me around 98. I know that
Yeah, I can agree with that.
yeah, I know that Montana came out with a hardcore around 93, 94, but I never fucked with it. You know what I mean? I was always the ghetto bootleg cat with the fucking extra needles, the transplant needle, the Rust-Oleum, the Krylon, motherfucking shit would
Right.
explode in your face if you didn't
Man,
attach it right. You know what I'm saying? And
making your own
now,
tips. So yeah.
yeah, man, like me and my homie Color One, he's in DTS in Houston. Me and him would get together and we would fucking cut the top of the fucking the spray can tops, the center of it. We would cut it, and then we with an X-Acto knife, we would just like fucking roll it until you get a little agujerito, like a little hole, and that was your little nozzle. And now they sell that shit. You know what
That's
I'm saying?
crazy.
Yeah, I look at it. It's on like spray. The websites, and I'm like, bro, we make
Yeah.
those shits with a fucking X-Acto blade and shit like that, and now they sell them. You know what I mean? So it's like a true artist, bro. You fucking revolutionizing shit as you go. Because if I had all this fancy ass paint, dog, that they have now, I would have been way better, way faster. You know what I'm saying?
Right. You know what? And then, I'm gonna build on that because I feel like I haven't seen too much of your old stuff, but I can only imagine if your new stuff looks the way it does, your old stuff got to look pretty phenomenal. And with that being said, I remember I'm a barber by trade. And when I was in barber school, my instructor, Mr. Littles, he put a challenge out there. Somebody bought him some cheap clippers, and he was like, it doesn't matter about the tools that you use. It matters if you know how to use the tools.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And I
yeah.
feel like you're somebody that knows how to use your tools. You're real innovative, and bouncing off, you creating, like I said, like stencil tips. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Out of the cans. So you're pretty innovative. You make these cool totems, right? That's what you call them, totems, right? Yeah,
Yeah, little
dependents.
totem makers.
Yeah, bro. So, what got you started on that? Like, what was the beginning of that?
Man, the beginning of that, of course, has to lead back to inspirations, and everybody's always like, "Oh, what kind of inspirations was that, bro?" And I had my share of hanging out with indios in Denver. I used to go to like powwows, and I'm actually part of a Aztec tribe called Tashkayotli, and it's actually a danza tribe. If you ever seen the Indians with the trajes, they got the feathers on, and they got the cuffs, and
Yeah,
with the drum, and that's called Aztec danza. And I was introduced to that in 2002, and lived with two dancing teachers who studied and danced the indigenous and the Aztec Mayan different tribe rooted to Mexican people. You know what I'm saying? And I actually was part of the tribe, but I wasn't a dancer. I was a drummer, and
right.
learned a lot about my culture because before I met these guys, I was kind of just Chicano. You know what I mean? Like Chicano, listening to fucking Stevie B, and you know what I'm saying? Got motherfucking my hair combed back.
I feel like we all went through that stage, bro. Because I used to have hair, and I used to have it all in a pompadour. I
Yeah,
would say, I come from like a rockabilly greaser type background. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah. That's kind of like
So
my
I feel
brother.
that.
My brother Joe. He would comb his hair back and fucking put the dippity do right here on the side, listening to fucking East Side Story cassettes and shit.
Nah, that's funny, bro. I've been there for sure. I've been there for sure.
Yeah,
That's
but
funny as shit.
it's a dope culture, bro. Because we bring something to the game that not many people were hot on back then in the 80s and shit. I used to talk a lot of shit, especially because um it seems like after Dr. Dre got on like Lowriders glorifying it, it got hot. You know what I mean? it used to be hot already in the in the Chicano culture and West Coast and shit like that
Hell
in
yeah.
Texas, but it got more mainstream as like hip hop introduced it. And same goes with fucking graffiti, like introducing, spray painters. And I think there was even a graffiti show on MTV once, like how to become a famous muralist or some shit. I don't know
That's
if you ever,
crazy.
yeah, I don't know if
No,
you ever
I've never
saw that
seen
shit,
that.
but
I'm
they
gonna have to
had,
look that shit up.
yeah, it didn't last long, but I thought it was funny because that came out and then like fucking first video game that I saw was they had a video game with a cartoon spray painting was fucking Parappa the Rapper. Remember that shit?
Yeah,
And
that's
and
crazy.
he would run through a train and he would spray paint. A lot of people don't remember that shit. And then the second thing that came out was the Mark Echo, the Getting Up spray can video game. I don't know if you ever seen or
You know what?
played.
I seen it. I never played that. I would say at the same time that was coming out, I was playing Tony Hawk Underground 2, and on
Yeah,
there you could create a little tag and like go
yeah,
tag in. Yeah, it was pretty dope. Yeah, but
yeah.
yeah, I never played it.
That video game still exists, and I heard it's like it's off the market. Nobody's selling it, but it's worth something now, And when I saw that, it has like a storyline. It also has cameos in there, like fucking like Cope comes on there talking shit, and he's all grainy. You know what I mean from the 8-bit. You know what I'm saying?
That shit's funny, bro. No,
Oh
I know what you're
yeah.
talking about.
You
I've
know, you
seen
know,
I've seen it.
you know how like Mike Tyson punch out and Mike Tyson looks all grainy with the 8 bits and he's all ah.
Yeah, straight up, straight
and it's
up.
and it's kind of like that because it's not fully developed um you know avatars or cartoons designed or whatever you
Yeah, the
call it.
graphics at the time were
Yeah,
not up to point. Yeah, now you turn on that shit, you look at like real people, bro. I was watching my buddies playing that UFC game or whatever they were fighting. I really
yeah,
thought they
dude.
were watching a fight, bro. I was like, what the fuck? No.
It's definitely the future of it's definitely the future of computer graphics and design. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know that a lot of people always tell me that's where the money's at, but I've dabbled with a little bit of like Photoshop, and I got Procreate on my iPad, but there's nothing like a motherfucking hands-on shit, with the spray can in your hand, you're outside, you're fucking painting some big shit, not just some comfort zone little screen. You're fucking going, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And you know what? I feel like, to add on to that, to build onto that, I don't mean to cut your knowledge, but the Procreate shit, man, like I dig it, I understand it, I use it a lot for like graphic design. I made, the shirt on Procreate, the design for it. But so my thing behind it is, a lot of people they're using fonts and then just putting the color scheme on the fonts and being like, oh, that's my style. And it's just like, no, it's not, because you didn't come up with it. You didn't, nothing on it's original except for
Yeah,
the colors that you placed on it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So for me,
yeah.
it's like I feel like it's a little cheating shortcut for the lazy writer.
Well, I wouldn't say shortcut. I would just say a more modernized version of a sketch pad or Photoshop. I
Yeah.
started fucking with Photoshop in about 1995, only because only because I got tired of drawing flyers. I wanted to like design them and make them look like the Ray flyers, full color, UV coated. They're fucking look like you spent some money on your shit. You know what I mean? That's why I
Hell
started.
yeah.
I started learning Photoshop CS, and it's so old school that it doesn't even like really like I can't find people that have that shit. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's gone to like Adobe Illustrator and all Procreate especially. Any tattoo artist or muralist, majority of the time they're using Procreate. The only reason I
No,
got
yeah.
that shit is because my young homie, he's like 35, bro, and he's a badass, fucking muralist. He's from Guatemala. And he's like, skis, get this shit, download it, learn it. He's like, you ain't out around hanging out outside that much anymore. Just get in there, knowledge up on the new shit. I'm learning it, but it's not the same. You know what I'm saying? I also kind of take it similar when it comes to like plotter machines that cut your stencil already, where in comparison to like I get a motherfucking poster board from Fiesta with an X-Acto knife and I cut the shit myself. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's dope, bro. Freaking no, I feel that about the plotters. I got one. I do a lot of like merchandise with those things. So no, I feel it definitely comes in handy. Um, but you know, just to wrap it up, maybe let me know what you think about the culture right now and where you think graph and aerosol art in general is going in the future. What would you say?
I think right now it's in full force. Again, it's kind of like back then people would diss shit that they didn't understand, you know what I mean? Like Misfits or Circle Jerks or hip hop music or something that they didn't get. Like old school break dancers used to put bandanas on their legs, you know what I'm saying? Shit like that, and it's become such a modern thing now. I don't diss it because I grew up in the best time, which was the time when it was developing and fucking came about. We were the generation that made it fucked up to like, paint trains and do illegal shit. And then, just growing up, evolving into legal stuff. The how can I put this? The technology in developing spray paint has become so awesome that I'm painting with shit that will never drip. You know what I mean? I'm spray painting with formulas that I will never have to mix, that will never drip. They're kind of like a one shot. Again, we didn't have none of this shit when we were kids. Our shit was mad translucent. You had to shake a can for a good 20 minutes before, it'll get some kind of hue instead of just looking like some transparent shit. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
all watery and shit
Yeah,
like
all
that.
watered
No, hell
down.
yeah.
I never forget the first time I spray painted with the Montana 3G, and the consistency on that shit is super thick, bro. It's like fucking, it's super 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 thick. So I took it for a test, and I'm painting, and I'm like, man, let me see what the fuck happens, dog, if I just spray it on the wall and just hold it, because I intentionally was trying to get a drip. So I'm like that, and guess what? No drip. That shit accumulated like a fucking big booger, bro. You know what I'm saying? And it just went like that.
Yeah, that's like the early Iron Lake paint, bro, straight up.
Yeah, and it's super thick, and you know, my point being is this: all these super thick, opaque one-shot paints that make it super easy for people have made people naturally excel in the introduction of spray paint. The reason I say it is like this is because I've been taught I've been asked to teach spray paint. You know what I mean? But when you put a can of Montana 94 in a kid's hand that's never fucked with it, and then just naturally fucking goes. It's kind of like, you don't even need to give him a little push on the bicycle. You just go, watch him go, boom. You know what I'm saying? And it's made the demand for super thick paint, cheap, easy, best quality, one shot. All that shit has made overnight artists like excel in their skills. You know what I mean? Because the years that I spent going, you know what I'm saying? Like,
straight up, bro. It was a pain in the ass back then. I already
yeah,
know.
no, you even got a motherfucking brush and oh shit, it's gonna drip. Oh fuck, it's dripping. You know what I mean?
Nah, I feel that, bro. Well, you got to be on the watch out, bro. Apocalypse Colors is dropping this summer, bro. So it's gonna
Hell
be some
yeah.
high quality vandal quality paint, bro.
I saw them cans, man. That shit looks dope. The little marker cat.
But yeah, bro. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna hook you up with a pack of that, bro. When we get together, I know we were talking about planning a little get together in Portland, bro, at your wall. Hopefully that rolls through. I want to, if we do that, or when we do that, I want to be able to sit down, personally with you and have another interview, bro. If you're down with that, catch you
Yeah,
while you're
man, I'm
painting.
always down. Hell yeah, dude. I love the fact that TOK took 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 and saw my talents and gave it that appreciation, because I never really was part of a big cruise coming up, but hearing the history behind TOK and the legacy that they have in Chicago only makes me want to keep going back, bro. Because anytime I go back over there, man, I'm just like, hell yeah, motherfucking TOK, dog.
Hell
Like,
yeah, totally out of control,
yeah,
baby.
dog. And the crew, bro, is the shit that I used to read about back in the day. You know what I mean? Can control while you were sleeping, motherfucking on the go, 12-ounce profit, all these badass magazines that I used to collect and read. And here and there would be a TOK flat burner, mural, whatever, and just reaching that point. I don't have no kids, so for me, my kids, my pride and bread and butter is this graph legacy. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah, well, fuck yeah, bro. Well, my brother Skeez, it was great talking to you, man. Fucking, like I said, when we get back together in person at the wall, we're gonna go ahead and do another sit down, bro, and talk more in depth. I definitely want to get into the tattoos next time we talk for sure.
Yeah,
Um,
man, let's do it, man. I'm totally down. I'm really appreciative, man, that you make this interview happen. It's homies like you, that set the standard. You know what I mean? That is a whole TED talk all its own, bro. People that set the standard, don't wait for nobody to fucking ask them for shit. They just make it happen. You know what I mean? And that's what we need more of. In the graph game and in the hip hop culture, all that. People that are not sitting around waiting to be asked, "Oh, can you be part of this?" No, fool, we're making our own shit happen. You know what I'm saying?
Straight up. All right, man. Skeez, I appreciate that love you just gave me, man. I really do.
Word up, man.
Coming from an OG like you, man, it means a lot to me.
Hell
But
yeah,
uh,
dude. No doubt.
but yeah, bro, I appreciate your time. And yeah, this is Street Hieroglyphs podcast, man. It's your boy Uncle Dom, your boy Skeez181.
Word up.
And we'll get with y'all next time, man. All right, Skeez, man. I'll holler at you, bro.
TOK, you dig?
See, okay, thugged out. All right,
All
man. Peace out,
right,
brother.
brother. Peace.
Peace.